are back. We are mock drafting. It's March 31st. It's Easter, actually. But we're less than 4 weeks now away from the start of the draft, I'm pretty sure. So we're going to continue a Dynasty rookie superflex mock draft, 12 team. No tight end premium this time. We're not going to do a tight end premium. I think I already did one for us, so you can check that out on the channel. Dad, we are using landing spots, which I'll leave the link to the draft in the description. It's actually a 7-round mock draft, which is always impressive to do a freaking 7-round mock draft. But we'll kind of talk you through it, where guys go as they get drafted. So Dad, I'm giving you the 101 since I had it last time. Who you taking at the 101? Again, Dynasty rookie superflex 3-rounder.
Yeah. It's getting close to the NFL draft, so it's almost Christmas time. So hopefully everybody's watching this, doing their homework a little bit. We know usually the first round isn't terribly complicated, but it's a good idea to do your homework and have your shit together a little bit, and then draft yourself some good rookies. But anyway, I'll go with the obvious number 1, Caleb Williams.
Yep. I've come around to, in the beginning I was saying, you can make an argument. Jaden Daniels, he rushes the ball. But with Caleb Williams going to the Bears, throwing the ball to DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet, 2 good running backs, 2 good, Gerald Everett as a second tight end. And they still have the 109, which, I don't know if they're going to draft a receiver, but even if they draft an offensive line, that's really going to help him. So if you're going to take quarterback, he should probably be the first quarterback here. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, don't get all wrapped up into the negative things. None of these guys are perfect, okay? Mm-hmm. None of these quarterbacks are perfect. They all got some issues, or something's wrong, or physically they're not this, or they don't weigh that much, or he didn't play on time and all this other crap. That's why they're going to teams, and there's coaches on those teams that are supposed to coach these guys. So, McCarthy's the one that comes to mind, but Caleb Williams, all of them. But anyway, just don't worry about it.
That being said, if you do have he's a polarizing figure, Caleb Williams. A lot of people don't like him and his personality. And if you feel that strongly about him and you want to go, I'm going to take Jaden Daniels here, go for it. He's in this draft, he's the 102. Is it crazy? Is there a world where Drake May or Jaden Daniels or JJ McCarthy are actually the best quarterback in this draft? Of course. So if you feel that strongly about Caleb Williams and you don't want to draft him, take the guy that goes at the 102, go into the Commanders. He's going to run the hell out of the ball. He has Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson to throw the ball to, a new offensive system. So I'll take Jaden Daniels here at the 102, which, I could see this situation happening. I can see Marvin Harrison falling in a super flex league if the top 2 teams really need quarterback. So, Dad, you're up. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, both these teams, the Bears and the Commanders, they're not quite as terrible as everybody thinks. I mean, there's some players there. Are they Super Bowl contenders? No, but could they be the next Detroit Lions in a year or 2? Hell yeah. Look at the Houston Texans. I mean,
yeah, everyone hated that.
Huh?
Everyone hated CJ Stroud going there.
Yeah, and look what the guys, the next coming of Jesus. Sorry to say that on Easter, but anyway, number 3, I'm going to go with Malik Neighbors.
Malik Neighbors, interesting. I'll do the pick for you, even though you can make it. But yeah, okay. Malik Neighbors, yeah, and there's rumors are starting to spread where he's going to be the first wide receiver taken. Is it just smoke and mirrors? We don't know, but I think the guy's going to be really, really good. He does things that Marvin Harrison can't do now. I still think Marvin Harrison is the better wide receiver here, but I don't think it's crazy that, Malik Neighbors in this draft, he goes 6th overall to the Giants. If you like that spot more than where Marvin Harrison went, which is what I'm going to take here, which is fourth overall to the Cardinals, then go for it. But both really good. I don't hate it. Both those guys going in the top 4 or 5 picks. So you're back on the clock with the 5th overall pick. Again, pretty chalk so far. The top 8 picks, 8 picks, I'd say. But who are you taking next?
I think Drake May.
Yeah. And in this draft, he does go 3rd overall to the Patriots, which people aren't going to like, but it's not the same old Patriots like we've been saying. It might be tough the first year. They don't have a whole lot of weapons. Demario Douglas is probably their best receiver. Or I keep forgetting who they brought in. I know they brought back Kendrick Bourne, who's a fine, probably should be a wide receiver 3 on your team. Kendrick Bourne, Juju's still there. So, I mean, it's an okay. There's no elite wide receiver 1, but there's 3 solid receivers there. Hunter Henry. So, yeah, but quarterback's too valuable to pass up.
I think there's another tight end besides Hunter Henry.
Austin Hooper looks like they brought in.
Okay, yeah.
PJ Osborne, that was the other receiver I remember. So they got a bunch of like 2/3 wide receiver 2/3s. So I'm up next here. There's kind of 2 guys I'm between. It's Odunze and JJ McCarthy. Odunze goes to the Jets. McCarthy goes to the Broncos. I'm going to take McCarthy. Again, super flex. It's just super valuable. The super flex. If quarterback hits, and it becomes so much more valuable than any receiver or running back. Again, just look at CJ Stroud. He's being taken in dynasty startups as the 3rd overall pick. Clearly ahead of any non-quarterback. So JJ McCarthy, he goes again 12th overall to the Broncos in the world we're living in. That's a fine landing spot. I like it. We'll see how he does year 1, but he has a good coach. And, there's rumors now that he could be the 2nd quarterback taken. So we'll see where the draft goes. But I like McCarthy there. So you're at the 107, Dad, unless you want to say something on.
Yeah. Roma Dunze, getting him at number 7 seems like a little bit of almost a steal. But I think that's where it's going to. I think, what we're doing here, I mean, the first 6 picks, they may not be in the order that we've done them, but it's going to be those guys probably,
Yeah. And Dunze goes, again, 10th overall to the Jets. Good spot. I mean, they need another receiver in there. I know they got Mike Williams, but, that guy can stay healthy, and he is on a 1-year contract. So, Dunze, there's Matt Harmon does the reception perception where he grades them on the routes that they run. And I think Dunze was like maybe the only player since he's been doing it to be like elite in every single, all 9 of the routes that you run in the route tree. Maybe there was a couple other players there, but it's rarefied, level where he was being graded out as just elite in every single route run. Doesn't matter. So Dunze, again, like he could go higher. He could be above Neighbors, in my opinion. Like if he gets drafted, the team might like the size of Odunze more than he's that stereotypical wide receiver size with the speed. So yeah, it does seem like a nice consolation prize, and it's not a consolation prize getting him at the 107. I'll go Brock Bowers here again, kind of a chalk top 8. He goes to the Chargers, 5th overall. He might even go higher if he goes to the Chargers. Non-tight end premium. I don't think he should go above any of these guys that we drafted ahead of him. If we're doing a full point tight end premium, then I can see him going over a guy like Odunze. But yeah, Brock Bowers to the Chargers, 5th overall. He's not going to fall past the 8th pick, I don't think so. You're up with the 109, Dad. We still got 4 guys drafted in the first round.
Yeah. I think I think Brian Thomas, I think.
Yeah.
I think the one thing, I shouldn't talk negatively. I think the one thing I don't like about Brian Thomas is he was kind of I think he was like a 1-year guy at LSU,
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, he was. Yeah. He goes 20th overall to the Steelers. So, I can see some flex. There's two other receivers that went in the first round who have a lot better landing spots than the Steelers, in my opinion. Worthy to the Cowboys, Adonai Mitchell to the Bills. But Brian Thomas was drafted over all of them. He seems to kind of have separated himself as the wide receiver 4 in this draft class. And I think he has a pretty safe floor. Like, his skill set's going to translate. Big, tall, fast, can make contested catches. That's going to be super valued. Is there a little bit of a ceiling cap to him? Potentially. Like, is he more of a 1B than a 1A? Potentially. But he seems to be a little safer than. I don't think he busts. I don't see a world where he's just a complete bust. So
he's a bigger dude. He's 6'3", like 210. So that's a pretty good size for a wide receiver. Yeah. So
I think he runs like a 4.33 as well. So
yeah, those are hard to ignore.
They are.
Oh my word!
I went ahead with Bo Nix here. He goes 23rd overall to the Vikings. So a first-round quarterback, falling to the Vikings. Awesome landing spot. He's throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson, Addison, TJ Hawkinson when he's back. Aaron Jones is your pass-catching running back. You got Kevin O'Connell, who's a good offensive mind. And again, I just keep mentioning it. Nick Mullins was putting up 400-yard passing games. Joshua Dobbs was a top 12 quarterback when he was playing for the Vikings. They're going to throw the ball 70% of the time, maybe more than anyone in the NFL. And Bo Nix, he seems to fit that system a little bit. Maybe he's a little bit of a game manager, but he could easily be Brock Purdy, like no problem. So I went with Bo Nix there. Again, super flex, too valuable to let these quarterbacks, especially first rounders, slip too far. So you're back up with the 111 here.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Adonai Mitchell?
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yep. Yeah. AD Mitchell, Adonai Mitchell. Yep.
Yeah, I think I know Mr. 421 is there, but he's kind of a lightweight. I think I like out of the Texas receivers, I like Adonai Mitchell a little better.
Yeah, probably goes. I mean, he goes to a better landing spot in terms of his future value. I think he goes to the Bills, 28th overall, so he could easily take over as the best receiver. Maybe after this 2024 season when Diggs is no longer there. I like Xavier Worthy just a little bit more, but I really like Adonai Mitchell too. Now it's not just the speed. I liked Worthy before the combine. Been kind of on him. I know he is lighter, so that is something to, despite us seeing lighter players be more successful in the NFL, it still is an issue at times if you are light. Achane, especially at running back, but Achane, he was hurt in preseason, during the season a couple of times. Kyron Williams, the big knock on him, he was like less than 200 pounds. He missed 4 games. It's easy to forget, but he missed 4 games this year. Tank Dell, kind of a freak injury, but he got hurt. So, I think Xavier Worthy, who goes to the Cowboys here, I think that complements CeeDee Lamb perfectly. So I'll take that. So that's 12 picks in this in this NFL mock draft. There are 12 first-round fantasy relevant players. So last year, what was it? The 107. You had the 4 receivers. The 3 quarterbacks, and a tight end. So you had 8 players. The 108. So the 109, 10, 11 were guys being drafted in the second round. The entire first round of this rookie mock draft are all first-round picks. So that's just shows you how deep it is. So, Dad, you are back on the clock with the 201. Where are you going here?
Wow, I think Mr. Penix.
I don't hate it.
Penix Jr.
Yep. I don't hate it if I can find where he is on here. There he is. Michael Penix Jr., who goes 44th overall to the Raiders. So you're talking about a high second-round pick. Again, super flex, quarterbacks, valuable. Like, you just can't let those guys fall too far. Like Will Levis, he was like a fringe first-round pick, early second-round pick last year. I think Penix is a little bit better of a prospect. Goes to the Raiders. We'll see. We'll see what that means. But he's going to get a chance to be the starter. Maybe not in year one. Maybe it's Minshew's job, but in year two for sure. So I do like that pick. Anything else you want to say on that, or should I just make my pick here?
No, it's, look at the way the guy throws the ball. So, the big negative on him is his injuries that he had, So he looks like a good pocket passer. He can get the ball out, and let's see what happens. I think it'd be a nice fit at the Raiders, I think. But
yeah, it just depends offensively how they're gonna run things. But I took Xavier Legette at the 202. He goes 34th overall to the Patriots. There is a receiver drafted before him, but when you take him or when I take him in the next pick, we'll talk about it. I just think Legette's upside is like potentially, it's not crazy to say like he could be the second or third best receiver in this draft class. He's a monster. He's like 225. He runs like a 4.37. Just imagine that you have the difference between like a 4.37 and a 4.21, which Xavier Worthy ran over 40 yards, is not a huge difference. Xavier Worthy is like 60 pounds, 50 pounds less than Xavier Legette. Like the dude is like DK Metcalf. Now the question marks, and I do have question marks about him. He didn't do anything in college until year 5, like literally nothing. And it's not like he was playing behind a bunch of loaded receivers and stuff like that. Like it was South Carolina. I think they've had one receiver drafted while he's been at South Carolina. So it concerns me a little bit. Like, why couldn't you get on the field? Why couldn't you produce until year 5? But I can't ignore the upside. So, again, he goes to the Patriots, 35th overall, which, pair him up with Drake May.
I think I've said this in a previous podcast that sometimes it takes guys a little bit longer, Maybe, obviously, we know there's a physical part of the game, there's a mental part of the game sometimes. And sometimes, what is Legette? He's at what, South Carolina?
South Carolina, yeah. Yeah,
so maybe they didn't have the right quarterback. Maybe they're not right. Maybe he didn't get the right opportunities. Maybe he had some injuries or something, but obviously he's got the tools, the physical tools. So hopefully he got it figured out, and let's see him do well in the NFL.
Yeah. And another thing is his first year was in 2019. Usually you don't get, you're a freshman, you're not going to play too much unless you're special. And then it was COVID year the next year. That had to mess him up a little bit, up his development. Also, he played quarterback his last year at high school because their quarterback got injured and they just put the best athlete there. Maybe that messed with him. I don't know. I didn't double check this. I think someone said his parents passed away or his mom passed away like right before he went off to college, or
that can mess you up.
Or his father. Yeah, his father. So there's a lot of stuff there. Again, the ceiling is there for him. So again, he goes to the Patriots 34th overall. So you pair him with Drake May, they could have a nice connection. So you're up, Dad, at the 203.
Yeah, I think maybe slightly early, maybe not. I'm going to go running back, Mr. Trey Benson.
Yeah, he goes to the Cowboys here. I wouldn't even be surprised if someone reaches for him as a first-round pick if he goes to the Cowboys, 56 overall.
If he's drafted by the Cowboys, because we know the Cowboys don't have a running back. We heard the news that they're interested in Ezekiel Elliott. But let's face it, the dude's not the bell cow, the running back. Trey Benson could be RBU number 1 on the Dallas Cowboys, in September. So I would jump all over that.
He's my RB1 in this draft class, and I'm warming up to this running back. We've been hearing, it's a weak running back class. I think there's about 6 or 7 guys that I really like, depending on where they go. So Trey Benson is probably number 1. He's a rare combination of size and speed. Like he's almost 220, I think, and runs a 4.3. He runs in the 4.3s, which is very, very rare. Go back and look at all running backs who weighed 215 or higher. Not many of them run in the 4.3s. So he has kind of everything, in my opinion, to be a complete running back. So yeah, I think he could potentially go higher. I don't hate that. So yeah, he'd instantly, to me, be the running back one for the Cowboys. Right now it's Rico Dowdle, he is what he is. He's not a workhorse bell cow running back. So I'll take Ladd McConkey here. That's the other guy I was kind of between him and Leggett. If I had to put money on who's a safer pick, who's going to be more of a better NFL player, I would put it on Ladd McConkey out of Georgia. But in terms of the upside and the ceiling, I give it to Leggett. Like McConkey, we'll see. Can he develop into is he good? Is he going to be just like the second or third option on a team? Can he be the number one option? I don't know. He goes to the Panthers here though at 33rd overall. Obviously, you have Deontay, Adam Thielen there, Jonathan Mingo. It's slightly crowded, but he could separate himself as the best receiver there pretty easily. So, I like that for Bryce Young. I think he's just a solid player. He looks good. He ran a 4.39. Looked good in the gauntlet drill, very natural. So I think he's just going to be a really good player. What's his fantasy ceiling? Still up in the air, in my opinion, but I still like the player. So you are back at the 205.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with I think I'm going to go with Keon Coleman.
You like Keon Coleman, right?
I do, and he ran the best gauntlet drill in 2 years at the combine. And I guess they throw a GPS tracker on him, and part of the gauntlet drill is not only making the catches, it's like staying straight on that line. And I guess he was, and I don't know what numbers they use to measure him, or something like that. But they said he ran the best one in like 2 years. So.
And yeah, he was the fastest at this year's combine, and that maybe he was the fastest in the last 2 years as well. But which is funny because he ran a 4.6 40.
Yeah, I know. That's the funny part is your 40 speed is down a little bit, but
no one runs a 40-yard straight line in the NFL. You just don't do that. Yeah, it was a 4.61, but his 10-yard split, how fast was he in the first 10 yards, was actually pretty good at 1.54, which is that's up there with guys like Xavier Leggett, who ran a 4.39, Devontae Walker, who ran a 4.36. So to me, that's a little bit more important. How fast are you that initial burst? Because we just talked about it, the difference between even a 4.61 and a 4.45 in a foot race is not very much. So if you beat someone within the first 10 yards, they're probably not going to catch you, even if you do run a 4.61. So I kind of do put a little more stock into that 10-yard split, and his was really good. So yeah, and by the way, in this draft, he goes to the Chiefs in the last pick of the second round, who, I don't want to speculate too much, but Rashee Rice, maybe some legal issues.
Guys are having problems in the off season, unfortunately.
Yeah. So he could go there and just be the nice second option or even the first option for the Chiefs. So and the guy I really like here. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and he's big. He's 6'3", 215 in that area. So got a lot of big receivers in this draft.
Yeah, big and fast.
Yes.
I know he's not necessarily the fast one, but we do have a lot of big and fast guys. I'll take a receiver I really like, Troy Franklin. I see a lot of a big range for him as early as a first-round pick, as I've seen him mocked as a third-round pick. I really like him. He's out of Oregon, good size. I think he's 6'1" or 6 foot, 195. He's in that fine receiver range. To me, he has a lot more upside to be a complete number one receiver for a team than a guy like a Ladd McConkey. He goes to the Lions, 61st overall. So Lions, despite them being a really good offense, they don't have a clear-cut number 2 receiver yet. Maybe it's Jamison Williams. Maybe it's Troy Franklin. Now, if they take Troy Franklin, 61st overall. I kind of think it, they want some depth, but it does say a little bit about what they think maybe of Jameson Williams as well, if they're taking a guy this early, a receiver. So maybe it's just good value it fell to them type of situation, but I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes the number 2 receiver for the Lions. Beats out Jameson Williams. So I like Troy Franklin a lot. And I like that landing spot because I like the offense. So I'll put you back on the clock down at 7.
Yeah, I'm just trying to I don't know whether to go. This is not a tight end premium, so
it's not. No.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Roman Wilson.
Yeah, that would be my next pick too.
Yeah, Michigan man, he's we know Michigan ran the ball a ton, but Roman Wilson was clearly their number 1 receiver. He played in college for a number of years. I think he's got good 40 time.
He's a 4.39 as well.
Yeah. He's not as big. He's 6 foot. I mean, that's not, but he's I think he could surprise some people in the NFL.
Yeah. No, I like Roman Wilson. Again, he goes to the Chargers, 69th overall in this draft. We know their receivers. Yeah, he's matched up with Harbaugh. We know the receiver situation there. He could be the best receiver on the team day one. Wouldn't be surprising. And if you look at just his raw stats, you're going to be like, oh, what the heck? Like 700 yards or whatever. His 789 yards and 12 touchdowns were, real quick here, 37% of Michigan's passing offense. So they just weren't a high volume passing team. So yeah, I like that. I do have questions. Like he's kind of in there with Lad McConkey of like, what's their ceiling?
Yes.
But I think it's almost impossible they're going to be complete busts. I think they're going to get on the field from day one, essentially, and show they're going to be able to get on the field and have opportunity. And if you're better than just like a possession slot receiver, that's going to show. And they're going to have the opportunity to show it. So, yeah, I like that pick. That's probably where I would have gone next. I'll go running back here. There's still a couple, a couple tight ends, a receiver. It's still a tight end in the second round, but again, non-tight end premium. But I'll go running back here. Potentially, I think the guy that would have been the RB1 had he not tore his ACL is Jonathan Brooks out of Texas. He goes to the Giants, 70th overall in the 3rd round. So basically, Devin Singletary's there. He'll be probably the main guy, especially the first 6 to 8 weeks while Brooks is recovering. And then Brooks either takes over middle of the season or next year. And I don't really want to draft that too high, but now we're talking about, mid to late 2nd round, I'm fine with like taking kind of like a red shirt running back year here. I just think he could be really good. He could be the best running back in this draft class pretty easily. So you are up, Dad. Where are you going next?
Yeah, I think I'm going to jump in on the tight end.
Yeah. Ja'Tavion Sanders. Again, 46th overall. That's really good draft capital. Top 45-ish is really, really good. Top 40, top 45 goes to the Colts. You like that landing spot for him, the Colts as well?
Yeah, I think that'll fit. Colts have a pretty good receiving core, with Pittman and even Downs, and I think there's somebody else there. But I think a tight end with a young developing quarterback will definitely help. I think it should fit pretty well.
Yep, and they have a bunch of like okay tight ends: Kylan Granson, Mo Alley Cox, Jelani Woods. But I think Ja'Tavion Sanders is the best that step right in. So, and I like their coach Steichen, get them involved, and yeah, I like that pick. I'll go another running back. I will go Blake Corum here, who I don't know exactly how I feel about Blake Corum obviously the workload's there and that's value in and of itself, like a guy who can take a huge load. He had it last year, the last 2 years really. His efficiency numbers really went down last year, but I have to remember he was coming off a knee injury, right? So that could play into it. Here he goes to the Raiders, 77th overall. They're going to run the hell out of the ball. Whether, he's splitting time with Zamir White, it might not even matter. Like they both might get 15 carries a game. They're going to be up there with like the Chargers and the Harbaugh running the ball a lot. So I'll take Blake Corum here. He's the third running back off the board, 77th overall. So you are up. We got a couple tight ends that I'm not super familiar with. We got wide receiver still.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Washington Husky wide receiver, Jalen Polk.
Yes. Yep. Good player. Probably like a wide receiver too, but yeah, he goes to the Cardinals, 66th. Not the best spot. I mean, Marvin Harris. They already drafted Marvin Harrison. Michael Wilson's there, but do you see him basically competing with Michael Wilson for the wide receiver too, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he just came out of a pass-heavy offense in college, so I think he should fit okay in the Cardinals. He'll get his chance. Remember, some of these guys, not all of them are going to be impacts in September.
No.
But we see as the season goes on, about mid-year, sometimes we say November or Thanksgiving. Some of these guys start showing up. Injuries happen, opportunities become there, and we start seeing guys, who are later round, the rookie draft and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. They get their opportunity, and they're going to show up. So,
yeah. Yep. I went ahead with Tez Walker here. He goes to the Colts. Yeah, goes to the Colts in the third round, 82nd overall. Again, they just took Jatavian Sanders. They got Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, Alec Pierce. Pretty crowded there, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tez Walker becomes their second best receiver and second best target. So he's an interesting one. Like, obviously the production for him was there. He went to Kent State where he was 50% of their passing offense, and then North Carolina this last year where he was 32%. So the production's there. He runs a 4.36. All of his combine numbers are elite. The vertical, the broad jump, all that stuff's really, really good. So he has a pretty high floor, I think, or ceiling. So, and I don't mind that Colts spot. So that's the first two rounds. Surprisingly, we still have multiple players, drafted in the third round, and we're going into the Dynasty third round. So, Dad, you're up.
Yeah, they're going to be. I'm going to go. Now, I've seen this guy's name kind of all over the place, a little bit in mock drafts and stuff like that. But I think Marshawn Lloyd is where I want to go.
And real quick before I let you talk about him, he goes in the fourth round. He goes to the Chargers at the 105. So he's there again. They're going to run the ball 30 times. He's there with Gus Edwards. There's two other running backs taken ahead of him, but this is the range where, hey, I really like Marshawn Lloyd. I like where he went. I'm going to take him over a couple of the other guys where maybe I don't like where they went, or I don't like those players as much. So you like that? Do you think he kind of splits time the first year with Gus Edwards?
Yeah, I think so. I read where J.K. Dobbins was visiting, and I'm going, what? Come on, But I think that's because of the affiliation with Greg Roman, the coach. I'm talking about to the Chargers. And I thought, well, if you're going to give him a chance or something like that, that's fine. But I really hope the Chargers, drafting a wide receiver and drafting a running back,
and a tight end,
and an offensive lineman is like shit, but yeah, I like the fit. So I think Marshawn Lloyd, West Coast running back, played at USC, so can stay right at home.
And I think he's sneaky, like maybe the best running back in this draft class. I'm saying that about a lot of guys because there's no clear-cut number one. He is impressive. He just didn't get used a lot. It was the Caleb Williams show. They threw the ball a lot, ran a lot of RPOs where they did not run the ball. They passed it. He has the highest, so two advanced metrics that are good for running backs that translate over: elusive rating. So are you breaking tackles on your own, in the open field? And breakaway percentage. Are you busting off 15, 20, 25-yard runs? He had the highest number for both those in this draft class. He had the third highest elusive rating ever since PFF's been recording it since 2015 or so. Third highest ever. It was Javonte Williams, Bijan Robinson, and Marshawn Lloyd. So he's impressive, and I love that spot. So I think that's a steal at the 301, to be honest. I'll take another running back. I'll take Braylon Allen, big dude. Guy's a monster. He's from Wisconsin. He's like 240 or something. He's like 6'1". He's, disappointed people a little bit. Like his production in terms of efficiency went down last year. He goes to the Cardinals, 90th overall. I think he sits probably for a year behind James Conner. He'll get thrown in there a little bit, but he probably sits for, he's not very fantasy relevant next year unless Conner gets hurt, which he kind of does every year. And then he takes over for the Cardinals, who have Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride. They drafted Jalen Polk. So they could be a really good offense, and he could get a lot of touchdowns. He has the build to be a workhorse running back. So the guy's like a monster. A little concerning he didn't do any of the 40-yard stuff or combine stuff at the combine or their pro day, but we'll see. So you are back up, Dad, with the 303. Still some good players here for sure.
Yeah, there is. So I'm going to pick he has some Hall of Fame DNA in him. Brendan Rice. Jerry Rice's son. So another guy that I've kind of seen all over the place. So this might be a slight reach, but he seems to look like his dad, kind of tall and the running. It's not. I'm not saying it's not fast, but it's like a strider or something like that. I don't know. Played at USC, so that's the guy I think I want here.
Yeah, I like it. Again, this is the range of if you really like a guy, you really believe in a receiver, you took him. There's still 12, 15 players that were drafted before him that haven't been drafted in our Dynasty rookie draft. But you like him, go for it. If you liked Tank Dell, don't be like, well, I need to go in order, right? This receiver went first, so I'm going to take him now. Just take who you like.
Don't follow the list and stuff like that. So,
especially when we're talking about third and fourth round picks, if we're talking about like a first round pick versus a fourth round pick, don't do that. Go for the first round pick. Those guys should be taken first for sure. But once you get into the third, fourth round of the NFL draft, go for the guy. Brendan Rice, he goes to the 49ers, 132nd overall. Obviously, a really good offense. Maybe he doesn't do much if Ayuk and Debo's there, but after next year, maybe Ayuk's gone. Debo's getting older, and Brendan Rice is the guy. So, yeah, he's not spectacular in anything. His best thing is his route running, but he's just all around really good. So, yeah, I think next here, I'll go with Ricky Pearsall.
A good move.
Yeah, he goes to the Bengals, the 97th overall, so still in the third round. We'll see what happens with T. Higgins. They're still working that out. He could just play on the franchise tag and be gone next year, and Pearsall steps in. Also, they need a third option still. We don't know who their third option is, and it's going to be a high passing volume team, so he could be okay this year, and then he could be the wide receiver 2 in 2025. So I'll go with Pearsall there. So you're back up at the 305.
Yeah, I'm going to go I think I'm going to go Jalen Wright, Tennessee running back.
I like it.
Yeah, so all these guys, all these running backs, if you just looking at the draft board and, they're kind of sprinkled in there, but they're all really close together. Now it's the consensus is Benson's the best. Brooks would have been the best, but he, blew his ACL out. After that, Quorum and Lloyd and the rest of these guys, they're close together. Look at what team there is. There's NFL teams that need running backs. We say the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Giants need, obviously somebody there. I know there's other teams off the top of my
Chargers,
head.
Chargers, Raiders, could use.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, they all need somebody. They may have somebody, who's considered their RB1 or something like that. If you're a Chargers fan, are you okay with Gus Edwards being your RB1 for the whole year? Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. We need somebody else. Gus Edwards, when he was with the Ravens, there was another running back on the team. It was Lamar, Gus, and another running back. So think of it that way. Just look at where these guys are going at. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I really like Jalen Wright as well. I think he's in there as potentially, maybe he's the best running back. And, unfortunately he does go to the Texans. 3rd round pick though. They gave Mixon a contract. I think Mixon's there for the next 2 years, but he is getting older and, maybe Jalen Wright takes over. So I think that's why he fell a little bit in our Dynasty rookie draft, but still like the pick a lot. This feels like the area to take running backs, I'm going to go with Bucky Irving, who I really like as well. He's fun to watch. He never goes down with first contact, even though he is a smaller running back. Goes to the Vikings, who I think will use him correctly. Now, the Vikings did bring in Aaron Jones, but that's they have him and Ty Chandler. But Aaron Jones is kind of a 1-year thing, always gets hurt. And Bucky Irving caught almost 60 passes last year, 50-something passes. And the Vikings are going to throw the ball a lot, so he could catch the ball a lot. So I'll take Bucky Irving. Goes to the Vikings in the 4th round. So back to you. There's going to be some guys that we get left off, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with one guy as oh yeah. Okay. Malachi.
Yeah.
That's the dude I want. Okay.
Yep.
I was trying to remember when we were doing our homework on these guys. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
And there's so many receivers. Yeah, Malachi Corley goes to the Jags in the 3rd round. I like that spot too. Who's their wide receiver too right now? I guess Zay Jones, but Malachi could be the guy. Question is he, because he had a third of his catches behind the line of scrimmage, Western Kentucky, I believe. That's just kind of how they ran their offense. The question is he like a Deebo Samuel, because he has a running back background, so he's going to get the carries, the bubble screens, the jet sweeps, and he's going to get those kind of manufactured touches. The question is he just that, like a Rondale Moore, or is he a little bit more? Can he be closer to a Deebo Samuel? Not quite Deebo Samuel level, but
the type of player.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just kind of targeting guys I really like. I'll go with, even though it's a crowded receiver room, a guy I really like, another Washington receiver, Jalen McMillan.
Yeah, good.
4th round pick, goes to the Texans. Again, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Noah Brown. He could win that 3rd spot for sure over Noah Brown. Also, Nico Collins, not guaranteed to be on the Texans beyond this year. They need to pay him. If he has another big year, he's going to want a lot of money. So, Tank Dell needs to prove he can stay healthy, which I think he can. But yeah, I'll take a chance on Jalen McMillan, 4th round, again, pairing him with CJ Stroud and potentially a good offense. So you are up next.
Yeah, I think I'll go with another QB, Mr. Rattler, Spencer Rattler.
I was thinking about it for sure. Yep, he goes 4th round to the Giants. So Dayball has done well with quarterbacks in the past. Daniel Jones, year 1. Josh Allen. I don't hate that. I mean, if anyone outside of the top 6 quarterbacks are going to make a impact in this draft, from this draft class, it's Spencer Rattler. So he has all the tools. Do you think he potentially he definitely sits for a year though, right? Unless injuries.
Yeah, I think so. But we've seen 60 plus quarterbacks for the past 2 years start. So it'd be a shame to see him in there and get his ass handed to him, or
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah. Hopefully he sits for a year, and who knows? If the Giants if they do well this year and they're drafting in the 20s, can't draft a quarterback, maybe it is Rattler. So, I guess I'll take a tight end that was drafted all the way back in the 3rd round. There's a couple guys. There's Ben Sinnott, who seems to me like I love him as a player for my NFL team. He's going to do everything like a use check. He's going to line up in the backfield at tight end. He's going to block really well. I don't know if he's going to be fantasy relevant, but I'm actually going to take Jared Wiley, who actually, I'll be honest, I don't know a whole lot about. But he goes to the Bengals in the 3rd round, and they have a need for tight end. The Bengals do. So I'll take a shot. Again, we're talking about the end of the 3rd round. A lot of these are dart throws. If I hit on a starting tight end at the end of the 3rd round of a Dynasty rookie draft, I'm happy. So I know they have Mike Gesicki, but
yeah, the Bengals use their tight ends too, so that's a good thing. Burrow.
Yep. Indeed. So you are back with your last pick.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the big running back out of Notre Dame, Andre Estime.
Yeah. Audric Estime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big guy, big running back, and so.
On the Bengals,
I think he's like 240.
He's a big dude. He ran a 4.7 as well, which is not great. But he was kind of up there as like a top 5 running back in this draft class until he ran that 4.71. He fell a bit, but yeah, I mean, goes to the Bengals. Zach Moss is there, but like, who knows for how long? Maybe a year or two.
They have a second-year guy, Chase Brown.
Yep.
Yeah.
We don't know if he can take the team's value guys who can take on a workload. That's for sure.
Chase Brown did in college, and then he got hurt, and he kind of showed up at the end of the year, for the Bengals and stuff. So we'll see. But Andre Estime is the guy I'm going to go with.
Yeah. And then I'll finish up here. I'll go. I'm not a huge fan of this guy, Johnny Wilson, but he did go. What is that? Early fourth round to the Patriots. So we just talked about the receiving core there. They obviously drafted Drake May. I know they drafted Xavier Legette earlier, but Johnny Wilson now is a huge dude, 6'7". Probably should transition to tight end, but I'll take a chance on a guy who a lot of people had him a lot higher going into the year, but he's not my type of player. But again, we're talking about the last pick of the 3rd round. The chances any of these guys hit are very low, but Johnny Wilson at least has some tools that can succeed. So that's the 3 rounders. There's still some guys out there that like
absolutely.
Jacob Cowing is a fun player who probably is just a slot receiver. Javon Baker is another guy I've been seeing as high as like a 2nd round pick in mocks. I'll have to go back and see from Central Florida. Didn't see much when I first watched him, but Ray Davis is a running back I really like. He goes to the Bills. Dylan Lob, I forget how to say his last name, but he played for New Hampshire and was their whole offense. He's just super versatile. Can run the ball, can catch the ball, line up a receiver. He goes to the Chiefs, which is a team you like that. So like him going there. So yeah, even in the 5th round, like a guy like Isaac Guerrero, who has one of the rare size speed combinations for running backs. Kamani Vidal is kind of interesting. So a lot of guys. And we didn't even draft. There's 2 tight ends that were taken in the 3rd round that we didn't draft. Theo Johnson going to the Rams. Again, not a guy I know a whole lot about, but going to the Rams in the 3rd round is interesting because they just lost Higbee in the playoff game. So, any last words, Dad? Are you anxious for this draft to come or ready for this draft?
Oh, absolutely. I'm ready now. So,
Yep.
I was just talking to a guy in our league, and I was talking to Moses yesterday, but I said, "Hey, dude, you getting ready? 5 weeks. Early May is when our Dynasty draft," and he seemed like he was pretty dialed in with the guys. And so I, encourage everybody, if you're watching this video, you're doing some homework, and you're
Yep.
all you need is a few guys usually to help your team, and you can definitely get that.
Yeah, 100%. So we'll continue to put these out weekly, even after the NFL draft, which will have a little bit more clarity. But yeah, we will be back with more mock drafts. We'll catch you guys then.